Hey everyone! Today we're going to be talking about darkroom filters while we're printing. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that bell so you'll be notified every time I post a video about analog photography. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at these three test strips of a print I'm working on in the darkroom. These three strips are from one single 4x5 a negative shot on HP5 Ilford's film, and the paper I'm working with is Ilford Art 300 paper, and I'm working with Ilford MG Developer and Arista Stop and Arista Fix. So that's the setup inside. But these stops, I wanted to show you what the different filters do when you're talking about a multi-grade or a variable contrast paper. You change how much or how little contrast there is by the use of filters, which can look like this or something very similar. Right, there's different colors, and that color gel sits between the paper and the enlarger lens, and it changes the contrast. So with this first strip here, I used a half filter. See that half, and that's that pale peachy color. For the second strip, I used a 1.5 filter. It's more pinky. And then on the third strip, all the way over here to the right, there is no filter on that one. But I wanted to show you also the difference in my settings. So with the half filter strip, we have f11 for 15 seconds at 5-second intervals with that half filter. It's always a good idea when you're working on prints in the darkroom to just with a pencil, just to note your settings, because if you ever get interrupted and have to come back and start over, you want to be able to start over as close to where you left off as possible. And I don't know about you, but there's no way I'm going to remember all this information tomorrow. So I just write down the f-stop I'm at. If I have different lenses I'm changing in now, I'll write the lens down as well, but today I only have one. I write the base time on there, and then I write how long in between each segment on the strip it is, and then I write what filter I used. So again, this one was that half filter, and then you can see very subtly, it doesn't show up as well on the video, but there's like these stripes of color, like this is lighter, this is a little darker, darker, and then darker. That's because this first area was only exposed for 15 seconds, then this was 20, then 25, and then 30. So that's what the +5 means. So let's look at the second strip. This one on the back I have, again, f11 with that 1.5 filter for 15-second base plus 5-second intervals. So again, this little area right along this edge was only 15 seconds, then we have 20, then we have 25, and then this edge over here was 30 seconds. So that's why it's darker. And then on this last one, we had obviously no filter. We did this one for 20 seconds plus 5 in between, no filter at f11. So this one you can see, again, a little bit lighter over here, it gets darker, darker, and darker. And that's not just the negative, that is the testing of light. See that little line right there down his eye? Testing of the different amounts of time to see what exposure we need to get this print rocking and rolling. So again, this is just a really great showing of what the different contrast filters will do. Generally speaking, you think about a no filtered strip as being around 3, maybe 2.5, 3. So that would be, if we come over here, let's find a 3 here. So generally speaking, we would consider a 3 filter to be neutral. We wouldn't expect a whole lot of difference between what I got here with no filter and the 3. But as we go down in number with our filters, we get less contrast. And as we go down again, we get even less contrast. And where I'm seeing that is, look right here in his beard area. Right in here. It's really kind of that muddled gray, and there's not a real strong pop of black. It's real just, the water makes it harder to see. It's really just gray. And then especially knowing that these are going to dry down a little darker than what they are. Just kind of keep that in the back of my mind as I'm going. But these two, like especially on this shirt, like that's really just faded and not very attractive. I don't like it. So I'm looking over here and really liking that beautiful lighting right there just next to his button and the lining of his shirt, that juicy shadow area, that's gorgeous. And then we're really liking here some of the lighting that's happening. Right here it's way too light, so I'm going to look probably, if this was 20, 25, 30, I'm probably going to go in this section maybe about 30, 32 seconds. This side feels maybe a little too dark in the blacks, especially knowing it's going to dry down darker. But maybe that 30 seconds actually might be just about right. And then I might want to do a little extra burning in the darkroom right in this super highlight area. So anyway, that's how filters affect our darkroom paper in our prints. So next time you're in the darkroom, don't hesitate to try out some new filters and see what kind of effects you can get and see if they can make your prints even better. Good luck, guys.